Welcome back to Coffee and Commerce with Cascone. We ended our last episode talking about how beauty has historically had an uncanny ability to drive product discovery and build loyalty. I wanted to dive deeper into this topic, given our belief that retention will have an outsized impact on retail recovery. Joining me today to discuss this topic is Tommy Lamb, veteran retail marketer with over 12 years managing marketing initiatives across all channels at brands including BCBG, Lucky Brand, Teleflora, and most appropriately for this episode, Dermstore and Sephora. Welcome, Tommy.
Thanks for having me, Sarah.
We learned in our last episode that a second-time buyer is 130% more valuable than a first-time buyer, and that value compounds with each subsequent purchase, indicating a level of retention and loyalty. But the sub-vertical known for this level of retention and loyalty, beauty, is actually seeing a bit of a decline in second-time buyers, anywhere from 47 to 6% over the last 2 months. I want to acknowledge how those two terms, retention and loyalty, are not always synonymous for brands. So to start, Tommy, how do you define the difference between retention and loyalty?
Well, at Sephora, we defined loyalty a little bit differently depending on the team. If you were on the Beauty Insider team, loyalty meant you were an engaged VIB member. If you were on the retention team, loyalty meant you were a customer consistently engaging in your channel, be it email, app, push, etc. Lastly, in CRM, if you were engaged, you interacted across all of Sephora, store, online, and ideally we spoke to you where you wanted to be communicated with, be it replenishment, discovery, or how-tos. But overall, what we were all striving for was to get customers to buy again and again, while also recognizing that once a buyer reached their nth purchase, they were generally no longer going to be swayed by many of our marketing messages. They know what they want and when they want it, and our job is to deliver.
That's an important factor to recognize. So tell me more about the shoppers who hadn't reached that nth purchase yet. I know replenishment is a key strategy here, so how did you approach it?
We had a classic replenishment program that was across over 20 key categories, leveraging multiple predictive algorithms to meet the customer just before they thought about replacing that nearly empty product. But we realized that it wasn't driving as much incremental revenue as the overall replenishment rate hadn't grown as much as we wanted year over year. We instead saw more success with our next best product efforts. Anytime we could get a client to convert to another category, it was a big win for us because, as you would expect, cross-category buyers are more loyal and have a higher lifetime value, or CLV. We took this concept and built a highly targeted custom data model to recommend a next best purchase in a new category based on a common buying patterns. We saw a 6.3% increase in conversions per client and an 8.4% increase in revenue per client. I think a huge reason for this campaign's success was its ability to balance replenishment with product discovery.
That's definitely a great way to naturally facilitate the discovery of new products and get the shoppers to buy again. So where did that leave your more traditional replenishment programs?
That's something we were testing and still are testing extensively. For example, we did a lip replenishment test to discover if there were high-performing lip products at a SKU level that were not getting enough exposure from a category perspective. If the SKU had a high replen rate, while the category had a low one, we knew to prioritize those promotions and campaigns accordingly.
And how did that campaign and the next best product campaign impact your repeat purchase rates?
These programs are the backbone of our replen program and continue to improve rates despite the uncertain times we live in. They have been essential not only to our most devoted customers and their repeat purchases, but to our new clients as they explore the world of Sephora from their home. This is where we are trying to bridge the gap from in-store expertise and guide them to their next discovery or favorite brand via digital channels.
So it seems there's an opportunity here for beauty brands to define what retention and loyalty means to them, but it should be anchored in the ability to drive repeat purchases. And I do feel that the concept of loyalty is often associated with a level of affinity to a brand that is a bit more complex than sheer number of purchases. Before we close, Tommy, I'd love to hear your thoughts about the future of the beauty industry. And as we continue to shift to this digital first, all direct to consumer world, what trend do you think will drive beauty going into 2021 and beyond?
Oh, thanks, Sarah. That is a loaded question. We have seen substantial shifts in normal buying patterns and in otherwise more tepid categories. Skincare and hair are really hot right now as more and more people opt for self-care at home. Skin and hair also make sense given the increase in digital meetings, as well as going outside. Think of where masks sit on the face. Good hair and skin are essential. Beyond that, sustainability and clean beauty is obviously a big priority for brands, as well as Sephora. Subscription boxes continue to diversify, and companies like Sephora are committing to the 15% pledge of including more Black-owned brands, as well as replication of the in-store experience online to anchor these new clients to the digital space and nurture that relationship in a helpful way.
There's a lot to play out here. Well, that is all we have for today's episode. Tommy, thank you so much for joining. And to everyone at home, I'm Sarah Cascone. Thanks for joining Coffee and Commerce with Cascone.